Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And but really quick, if anyone notices, yes, I shaved the beard off. I just said when I reached the 11,000 subscribers in my video, I said I probably would shave it off. But I know, but hey, don't worry about it. It's just hair. I can always grow it back anytime. So I figured I would just keep it clean just for a little bit, all right, or a little while. But I said I can always grow it back. This is only just hair, facial hair on my face. So yeah, but put all that aside, the next movie I decided to review is, I remember I didn't fully grow up with this movie. I only remember watching only one or two times back then, but I remember liking the movie, especially for this child actor that I grew up watching, especially with Home Alone. And if you're all if you say Home Alone, mention Home Alone, it's Macaulay Culkin. So for the movie review, I'll be reviewing. I would say that this was his last role as a child actor, and that is of Richie Rich. Now Richie Rich, this came out in basically the Christmas time of 1994, and then listen, this was his last role as a child actor when this came out, and I don't know why my freaking nose keeps on itching me. But Richie Rich, I didn't grow up with the comics. I never read the comics, and back then I never heard of the comics. All I remember was the movie. Because when you're a kid, you don't know much back then. So yeah, so back then I didn't know there were comics of Richie Rich. I thought this was a movie. But Richie Rich, yeah, was based on comics, and the film myself I did like. I still like Richie Rich. Now, Macaulay Culkin, I thought he did a very decent job, and he's a child actor that I grew up liking, especially from Home Alone 1 and 2, The Page Master, which I liked growing up. That one I grew up more with, The Page Master. I reviewed that long ago, you can check that out. And even The Good Son, that was the only very serious role he did when he played an evil child. So, The Good Son, don't fuck with me. Yeah. But yeah, but Macaulay Culkin I thought was very decent. He was a very decent child actor that I grew up with, and he does a decent job in this movie. And sadly, though, the year 1994, he had 3 movies he did, and they were all flops. Getting Even with Dad, The Page Master, and then this film. This cost $40 million, made only $38 million. So maybe because three strikes and you're out. Maybe the reason why he left acting, because the 3 films he started in 1994 were all straight out flops. Maybe one reason, or maybe the other reason because maybe outside of acting he was getting tired of it. Maybe he just wanted to leave. So who knows? Well, for me, who knows? But it is too bad, because who knows if he kept on going, who knows what other roles he would have gotten afterwards. But I thought he didn't do a bad job in this movie. And plus this funny thing, it was all 3 of those movies he was nominated for a Razzie, but lost to Kevin Costner for Wyatt Earp. And the critics weren't too nice with it. It has a 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 5.4 on IMDb. But surprisingly, a positive review, once again for me, it came from Roger Ebert, who gave this film 3 out of 4 stars. He said that, quote, he was surprised, he enjoyed the movie. Yeah, so once again, Roger Ebert, he surprised me again. There's a film that I didn't think he would like, but he ended up liking it. So yeah, so that's another time a film that surprised me that Roger Ebert did like. And as for the rest of the cast, I thought the rest of the cast did a very capable job. Like I said, Macaulay Culkin, I thought he did a very decent job as Richie Rich. Your villain is played by John Loarroquette, which is an actor I don't think no one talks about anymore. John Loarroquette. I don't think he never got that big. He never got too many big roles. But John Loarroquette, okay, I remember seeing. He was in Beethoven's Fifth. That was some years later, in the mid 2000s, Beethoven's Fifth. I remember he was the narrator in the 2003 remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was the narrator that then he ended up coming back as the narrator at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. But there was a TV show I forgot that he was in, but John Loarroquette, he didn't get too many big roles though. But here I thought he was fun in the role. as your bad guy. He was having fun, I could tell. Jonathan Hyde, which that's an actor I like. Jonathan Hyde, he plays Richie Rich's right-hand guy, or his butler, you could say. Like Jonathan Hyde, he was in, of course, he played Alan's father in Jumanji, let alone the double role as Van Pelt. Good lad, you're finally acting like a man. And of course, he was in Anaconda. Of course, he was in Titanic. The Mummy, of course, 1999. But I like Jonathan Hyde, and as an actor, I liked him. He hasn't been in too many recent roles, I don't think. I remember he was in also one of the I do have like the miniseries. What was it? Yeah, the miniseries of Dinotopia. I think he was in one of those. He was in one of those miniseries of Dinotopia. But I like Jonathan Hyde. I thought he was I like him as an actor, and like I said, I haven't heard too much. Oh, that's right. I remember the latest role that I remember he did was from the Netflix animated DreamWorks animated show Troll Hunter. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Forgot the character's name though. For the most part, most of the series, he was a bad guy, but then ends up being a good guy towards the end of the series. Yeah, Jonathan Hyde. I forgot he was in DreamWorks' Troll Hunters. But once again, I like Jonathan Hyde as an actor. My brother, he enjoys him as well. But he plays as the butler. Edward Herrmann, who passed away a few years back, he plays the father of Richie Rich. Of course, he was in The Lost Boys. He was in Overboard. I thought he was fine. And the Christine Ebersole as the mother. Mike McShane, he's like the family's like inventor. He's always inventing these crazy inventions. He seems how the way he talks, and he always seems kind of wacky though. And I thought he was a little fun in that. And of course, you have cameo appearances themselves. Like you have like Reggie Jackson, like who's teaching him to play baseball, which Richie likes baseball. So Reggie Jackson has appearances himself. Even Claudia Schiffer as herself as well as a trainer, and also a Ben Stein as well. So he has some cameos as well. So yeah. So the cast overall, I would say overall solid as well. And then the film was directed by once again. The film was directed by Donald Petrie, which he's directed some movies that I have seen, especially when he directed Grumpy Old Man with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. For this film, he directed The Associate, My Favorite Martian with Jeff Daniels and Christopher Lloyd, Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which was with Heath Ledger. Oh no, sorry, that was 10 Days I Hate About You. That was the one with movie Heath Ledger. I got stuff. I think was that the one with Heath Ledger? Yeah, no. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was with Matthew McConaughey. No, the one with Heath Ledger I was getting mixed up. It was 10 Things I Hate About You. That was one with Heath Ledger. I got confused on there because they both say 10 days, so or 10 things. 10. It has 10 in it, so got a little confused. But How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days had Matthew McConaughey in it, so and Kate Hudson, which they both later appear in Fool's Gold. Then he directed Welcome to Westport. That was with Ray Romano and Gene Hackman. That was the last one he did before he retired, and that was a flop. Welcome to Westport. Then he directed Just My Luck, My Life in Ruins, and Little Italy. So, and he also directed Mystic Pizza. I forget Mystic Pizza with Julia Roberts. So he started as some recognizable movies. Donald Petrie. And I thought he did fine with this movie. And of course, you have producer Joel Silver, who's produced many movies. Joel Silver. But anyway, getting back to it, as a film, of course, Richie Richie's like he's the richest kid in the world, son of a billionaire. You know, he basically has everything. He even has a dog, with a dollar sign on. He's the richest kid in the world, but he hasn't made that many friends, basically. You know, he tries to make friends. For instance, like there's this group of kids, which on the front cover right here, he meets these group of kids. He wants to be friends with them, and first they make fun of him at first, and of course that all changes when they all take him to his place. I'll see how rich he is. What has probably that thing he and Dan becoming friends because he has a lot of money. I wouldn't doubt that they would. Oh, we'll be friends because you have a lot of money. You have a lot of moolah with you. But I think that's the case. I don't think by the end of the movie, oh, we're your friends. We will be your friends just because, or it's not because you have a lot of money. We'll just be your friends though. But still, which I don't think that's not established though. But still, but they end up being friends in either way. And of course, he shows him around his place, like his gadgets, and of course, my brother, he loves this scene. And of course, I mean, who else wouldn't want this? Of course, he when Jonathan Hyde, the butler, says, I think. Master Richie gives you all a little bit of a break, and of course opens the door. They have his own freaking McDonald's there. I mean, of course, as any kid wants, even I and my brother would say, who doesn't want a McDonald's in their own house? You know, I mean, who doesn't? That'd be like a dream, you know, if you ever have your own McDonald's in your own house. I mean, I would love to have McDonald's. Of course, I would die of a freaking heart attack. I would die happy as hell, would I, eating McDonald's in my own house. Hey, because I love McDonald's. Love their Big Macs. And their McNuggets, of course. But yeah, but I'm just saying, who wouldn't want a McDonald's in their own house? I'm sure any kid would. Raise your hand if anyone would agree. I don't know, my brother would. He was like, oh, I'll be so odd. Oh, but don't believe me, that's my brother. He's seen the movie, and he's like, even to his friends, like, oh, I would love to have a McDonald's in my own house. See, we're all in the same boat on that. Hey, I agree with my brother sometimes, once in a while, so. But yeah. But of course, getting back with your bad guy, John Loarroquette, you know, he works for them, but of course he wants to. Of course, the thing is, he wants to kill the parents, and of course, off him so he can take over the whole business. Of course, it's a typical cliche plot for a bad guy, of course. But still, John Loarroquette, he was having fun. He was having fun. Like when the parents go off their own trip, but John Loarroquette makes like their plane crash like with a bomb, I think, and then they're stranded, and Richard Rich thinks their parents are dead, but he takes over the company and just has everything running smoothly. And then, of course, when John Loarroquette, he frames Jonathan Hyde, the butler. He frames him for murder. He frames him for the murder of the parents. And Richie Rich, you know, wants to. He's forced to flee from his place and hides in one of his friends' house. And then it gives him like a way for the butler to get out of prison, like with one of the inventions, like some aesthetic toothpaste, you know, to go to the bars. And you did get some funny stuff, like of course when Jonathan Hyde he's in the prison bathroom, right, and he sees like the aesthetic toothpaste, and one of the big baddie prisoners, you know, wants to fight him. And of course, when he grabs him and just stays focuses on the wall, you hear like the whole scuffle off screen. And of course, you think he's getting his butt kicked, but no, Jonathan Hyde he actually beats up the guy. I did find that funny though. I did get a chuckle out of it. And so he bails him out, and then him and Richie, his butler, and the friends try to take back his place, and like using the catapult, which he calls it the kitapult, and gets that inventor using his inventions, like it's like these mechanical bees. Now, granted, it's very, even for 1994 with the early CGI on the mechanical bees, it's not that great though. But still, it's 1994. Probably gives him. I'll give a little bit of leeway on it though, but still, you can tell it's not. If from CGI bees, it's not that great. But like I say, it's from 1994, so. I mean, I've seen a lot of worse CGI. I mean, like my recent review. You ever seen this bad CGI in Catwoman? Like when Catwoman's doing all the speed climbing on walls and stuff. That CGI is bad. That's horrendous CGI. The CGI bees in this movie, I thought is a lot better than Catwoman, and that's 10 years later. 1994, 2004. That's 10 years later, and Catwoman's CGI is horrendous, and that cost freaking $100 million. This cost like what, $40 million? Not all the budget went to the CGI bees. Come on. And especially the budget went more like, especially all the settings, especially product placement for McDonald's. You know, I'd get riots on that. But so funny, you know, 1994 CGI bees right from here, and you fast forward 10 years later, you get horrible CGI from Catwoman. You don't believe me? I watch my rant on Catwoman, and I'll explain that horrible CGI is god awful. Or let alone watch the movie for yourself, and you'll see why. But getting back on that though, and then it gets one of the guys like some very sticky tar, or when the parents come home and John Loarroquette's after them and Richie, and like they go like they have like a vault which is like a Mount Rushmore of themselves with their faces on it, and the parents, they have a password, and when they sing, and then John Loarroquette goes thank you, Beavis and Butthead. So that's another chuckle I got out of that. And then the next one following that, when they open the vault, it's full of like sentimental things, right? And John Loarroquette tells the parents like, "Where's the cash and the jewelry and all stuff and the money? Where is the money?" And then Herrmann goes, "In banks. Where else?" So yeah. So that's that. So the film does give me a few chuckles in this movie. So which it's not overall funny to me though, but I did get some chuckles out of it. Especially I thought the film was very entertaining in and of itself though, but enough for me to find it on a kids movie level, especially with Macaulay Culkin. And then one guy uses laser against them, but they take him out, and then of course, and then John Loarroquette gets himself taken out. But instead of going to jail, they're going to end up doing. They get him and his other guy gets community service. They just end up getting community service, and by the end, it's like, hey, Richie, and he has his friends and all that, and Jonathan Hyde had this narration. I forgot to mention, Jonathan Hyde does a little narration here and there in the movie. You know, saying by the end of the movie, says he has what money can't buy, and that's friends. So, but yeah, Richie Rich. I still like the movie. Most of the cast was pretty solid, especially Macaulay Culkin, Jonathan Hyde. I like John Loarroquette. I thought he was a fun bad guy as well. Did get some chuckles out of that. I forgot to mention this for good reason because I want to forget about it. I almost forgot about it. I did forget about it though, but just popped into my head. Of course, I had to mention this. Like a couple years ago. Why did they make this? Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, why did they make this? Why? I almost forgot this existed because it's that forgettable. Because it only came out like a couple or so years ago. They made a Netflix TV show of Richie Rich. And, okay, I was curious about it, but I was, at the same time, I was like, why did they make a show, especially for a film that has not been spoken of probably in a long time, but still, why did they make a TV show of it? And I saw only the first episode, and oh my god, jeez. What do I describe it? Horrendous, atrocious, or in one word, shit. Yeah. After that, I'm not watching that show. Screw that. That show can just kiss my ass. I don't know why they made a TV show of Richie Rich. I don't know why. Especially, it's been like over 20 years later since the movie came out. I don't know why. Macaulay Culkin is much better as the kid who starred in the TV show Richie Rich. The kid, I'm sorry, he was not good to me. Macaulay Culkin, much better Richie Rich. So if anyone wants to know about that show, forget about that show. If anyone knew that show existed, don't watch it, please. I just rather recommend you watch the movie instead. You'll have a much more fun time than watching that horrendous TV show. Episode 1 was bad enough as it is. So, yeah. Just forget about that. If anyone's ever heard it, forget about it if it existed. Ignore it. Don't watch it. Just watch the movie instead. You get much more fun out of it. Which I had. I got more fun out of it than I did for the first episode. Honestly, like I said, I don't know why they bother making a show like that. So, yeah, that was bad enough. So, but hey, I was curious. I just watched that first episode just for the sake of curiosity, and it's made me go, why? Made me go, why? But here, I thought it was fun. Like I said, the cast, I thought, especially Macaulay Culkin, did a very decent job. Like Jonathan Hyde as a butler, I enjoyed. John Loarroquette, I thought he was a fun bad guy. Who did the score? The score is done by Alan Silvestri. If anyone was a fan of the Marvel movie, especially from the Avengers movies, you know, if anyone was a fan of Alan Silvestri, especially when he did the Avengers movie, especially when Infinity War and Endgame, he did scores like these. He did scores for back then from Volcano, Mouse Hunt. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? This movie. People, if we talk about scores for the MCU movie, especially those Avengers movies, go back to Alan Silvestri's scores from back then, from the 80s and 90s. I like the score to Volcano and Mouse Hunt, and especially Who Framed Roger Rabbit and many movies. Scores he did that I like. And I thought the score was pretty decent from Alan Silvestri. The humor, I got some chuckles out of it. The directing by Donald Petrie I thought was decent as well. And it's a short movie. It's only, with take out end credits, it's only an hour and a half if you take out end credits. So, yeah, so Richie Rich from 1994, this is too bad. This was the last film they did. Maybe, let's say, if all three of those movies weren't flops, maybe he would continue on acting. Or maybe it was just personal matters he chose to leave acting, Macaulay Culkin. That was his decision though. But part of me wish what more roles he would continue on after Richie Rich. But now for nowadays, I'm pretty sure people think he's batshit insane nowadays. Which I've seen, especially with the freaking long freaking hair he has, with the beard he has. He looks insane nowadays. It's sad though. I mean, from a child actor, people will look back and say, "Really, that's the kid from Home Alone?" Now people look at him nowadays and really, that's him from Home Alone. Anyone would point to Home Alone though, but I'm saying, yeah, maybe that's probably what happens when you stop acting. We go like batshit insane. But I shouldn't pick on that though. But if he chose to leave, that was his decision though. But I thought Richie Rich was a pretty decent, entertaining kids film. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Richie Rich. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next movie review. Later.